Welcome to Golfcast Quick Pour Between the Years.
Kind of loving the grind over the glory. So the quote was, I love putting in the work. I love being able to practice. That's what I enjoy doing. So again, Scottie's talking about what he loves, kind of what we just talked about, that intrinsic, he likes the intrinsic worth, me getting better, kind of putting in the work, and then everything else is gravy. So why in this generation now does everything seem 180 degrees opposite of that? Give it to me now. I don't want to put in the work. Just give me the trophy. I want to be the boss. Well, you've never really worked, so how can you be so how, what does this say kind of societal where it's going on, and why Scottie is preaching differently to a lot of the choir out there?
Chris, you have some thoughts on this one? Grind over glory. I love that.
Yeah, I think he certainly is more involved in the process. He knows the process is going to dictate the outcome, and he doesn't chase the bait of the outcome. He lets it be a result. A result is just that. It's a result. And he's got a really good process in place. He knows what he needs to do. He knows his strengths. He keeps them current and makes them stronger. He identifies his weaknesses based on stats and the environment and the things he needs to work on to change, in his environment that allow him to be successful and the people he's around. And, it is different versus looking for that satisfaction coming from other people telling you you're good, or, getting that outside viewpoint that is so short-lived, and it really is that flickering flame that really just fizzles out very quickly.
What you just said really triggered some thought in my mind, like going back to the idea of this is it in relation to this question now. We all have these value hierarchies. We have these hierarchies of I do this because of this. Well, what do I get from this? Well, I get this. And it's always a little higher value system, a little more abstract, a little more general. Well, if you come down to it and you get one of these outcomes, whether it's glory or whatever it is, and then you realize there's nothing else, there's no other value above this that I can think of. This isn't getting me anything extra that's even better than what this is. So it's like, maybe there's a realization that this is the end and this isn't where the end is that I want it to be anyway. I don't want the end to be here. So maybe there's a little bit realization that, gosh, this doesn't give me anything more. And there's more. There's more. Because they've experienced more, hopefully, in their lives that's much deeper or higher in their value systems. So maybe that's a part of what happens there. But, he's like you just described Scottie Scheffler as very mastery oriented in the way he is in his achievement. So mastery orientation is like going after excellence. That's what it is. And it's about what can I do to continually get better? And there's a different way that some people define success, and that's an ego orientation. And ego orientation is if I beat you, then I'm successful. Whereas the mastery orientation, if I get better, I'm successful. Yeah. So I think that's probably feeding into this whole piece here, where he's not as satisfied with the win as he might want, or as some people thinks he should be, because maybe he's more mastery oriented than ego oriented. And the ego oriented is going to define success as winning, and they're going to get a real big, intense, good feeling out of that because they're at the top. They're dominating. So that's an interesting piece. I don't know, I don't know him enough to know which direction, but based on, he's definitely mastery oriented. Now you can have both. You can be mastery oriented and really define success as getting better, but you can also be the ego oriented person where, hey, maybe I didn't play very well, but I still won, so I still feel good. Yeah. People are different in relation to these. They're not opposites of each other. You can have both, high, low, middle, or whatever. But I think that mastery orientation allows the grind to actually be satisfying. That's what I'm really trying to say there.
Yeah.
Where the glory isn't as important. Secondly, people have growth mindsets and fixed mindsets. Some people believe that our abilities can continue to get better through practice and training. Other people tend to believe that effort isn't as important, or instruction and training, and that really there's something inside that they either possess or they don't that really is the cause of their abilities. So if someone's more of a fixed mindset, they tend to devalue effort. And what happens then when they run into trouble, when they get into a slump or something like that, they don't know what to do, because their whole
Yeah.
lives, maybe they were told, you have this gift, and they also didn't have the other part that said, effort is really the key, but nice to have a good start. Well, they have the only one side of it, the gift part, the natural part. And though they don't learn what to do when things aren't going well, because they don't even think about the strategies by which are under their control to actually move forward, which is the whole effort piece.
Yeah.
So I think that's a real problem among a lot of people. And whether or not Scheffler thinks he's got some gift or not, he probably does. A lot of high athletes do. But he also has the growth with it.
No.
You can't just be fixed. You got to have the growth with it.
No, I think it's interesting, because if you kind of think of the glory, kind of the ego side versus kind of the mastery side. The ego, like, we ran stats for a lot of years, and the one thing we do know is if you win on the PGA Tour, the chances of you winning next week is about zero. Because the glory guys, and winning takes you out. You have more press junkets. You have late night TV show. Like, all these things change. So Scottie is one of the few out there that I don't say he can't win the next week, and he's done it.
So true.
He's done it enough now where he can win multiple weeks. So I think, again, that goes more into that mastery. Like, yeah, I won, but again, I could have done 7 things so much better. I won the last event, but I could have done 7 things better. And my goal was to get those 7 things better in this event. So I think, again, that's that mastery kind of component of it. And
I agree.
He is definitely an outlier inside of the PGA Tour.
Totally. I might add one more piece, and then one more thing about that is what happens over time when we're learning from our experiences is that we form expectations. We just do. That's what we do. We have predictions about the future. And as we go, we're going to have these prediction errors, which means we either predicted something that didn't turn out as well as we thought, or it's better than we thought.
Yeah.
Or it's right on. But over time, if you win enough, I would think that you've learned that your expectation is pretty high that you can win. So, but what happens to us is if our expectation is such that we've learned that, and then the event matches that expectation, we do not experience as strong of a feeling.
Yeah.
We just don't. It's not like if we're surprised that we won, that's going to be a more intense feeling. Or if we're really surprised that we lost, I suppose that would be too. It'd be more of a disappointment depending on your value systems and so on. But if you've learned and now you just not that he's expecting to win, but if it's a little higher expectation that is kind of the same that's been happening a lot, you would kind of predict based on the research that you wouldn't have as strong of a feeling when you win.
Yeah.
Because of the matching of the expectations. And that's kind of what happens as we learn about anything. It's like, like the first person who's trying to make a 3-foot putt, like when they're really young, they keep missing, they pretty start making it a lot. How excited are they going to be after a while when they make that 3-foot putt?
Yeah.
It's not going to be that exciting anymore.
For some of my players, they get really excited.
So I don't know. I just threw out a little speculative thing there. Maybe this going on as well.
That might even go back to our first conversation of the expectation of when he wins, it's 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I kind of expected, it's just what I do. This is
what I do.
This is what I do.
That's
All right,
exactly.
let's see here. We're going to break into our last theme because we are hitting kind of the 50-minute mark here. This is actually a really good one, especially for junior golf, especially for collegiate golf, as well as tour golf.
Join us at golfcast.com or on YouTube.